She's a producer and host of the Ghanaian Farmer TV show on Joy Prime. She's my guest this morning. And Yanam, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Just that I'm not happy.
About
the situation.
Okay.
This has been an old story. This has been happening year after year.
Okay.
Shortage of this because there's a problem in this particular country. Price hikes in this commodity because there's a problem in that country. The question is, can't we do it ourselves? We can. Somewhere this year, I hosted some Nigerians who came for agrotourism. And as we were moving, I took them to the western region, we're going to the Volta region, and they kept saying, Madam, Ghana, you people have land, oh. What are you doing with the land? So we have land. We have the farmers. My brother, if you see the number of young people on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube who DM me every time, and you know, for what you do, we are attracted to go into that space. But we lack the logistics.
Okay.
Logistics such as access to land. Some even have the land, but things as land preparation, the tractor. For me, where I'm producing my sweet potato, the orange flesh, to plow an acre cost me between 400 to 500 cedis for 1 acre.
1 acre.
Now,
and you're doing 45.
Exactly. And the vines for 1 acre, sweet potato vines, for the quality I want for the international market, it cost me 3,500.
For an acre.
For 1 acre. That's minus paying for the land. That the land alone also cost me 500 cedis for 1 acre. So multiply times the 45 I'm doing. I'm not saying anybody to go and do sweet potato, but that's how much it's costing around the Sege area. So imagine if you go to another area. We've not talked about fertilizer yet. We've not talked about the pesticide and the weedicide yet. Labor. Each person charge you per an acre. The planting.
You're even getting your land cheap. You said it's 500 acres.
500
cedis.
Yes.
Per acre.
Yes. So the prices varies depending on the community you find yourself.
Because 500 is on the low side.
Good for me.
Exactly. If you
Good
find
for
yourself
me.
in the western region area where I'm quite used to, I mean, you won't get it from 500.
It'll be more than that. I know.
Exactly, yeah.
It'll be more than that. So it depends on the accessibility of the land. It depends on the financial power of the youth. And then it depends on expertise also available. How many commercial farms are even there for young people to go and train, have the practical knowledge before even zooming in? Because my brother, farming, it goes beyond just putting seed into the soil.
Yeah.
It is a lot of things that goes into
we'll
it.
zoom into the
Of course,
the
we
whole
will.
thing
Yes.
about the onion. But you see, I'm interested in a lot of young people are watching us now, and we've all been talking about how do we get young people to go into farming.
Yeah.
So meeting someone like you is really an interesting thing we need to explore. How were you able to come by the funding? Because listening to the 500, 3,000, and all that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
So I was already producing the Ghanaian farmer,
Okay.
making some income from consulting for people who call from abroad. So mainly my clients are from abroad. Oh, and you know, we've watched this video on YouTube. We want to go into this. Can you help us with consulting?
Okay.
So I get some small income from there. YouTube itself give you some income from the eyeballs that watch the video on the channel. Then also you get people sending you maybe, I have this commodity, or I have this video about fertilizer, or this thing, post for me. So whilst I was going through the region by region, interviewing and discussing farming related issues with farmers, I kept hearing of each person's budget, how much an acre or 2 acre would cost you. So I was working my way. So the young people who involve me, I tell them, listen, if you're already working, let's say you're a corporate farmer, a corporate worker, and you want to go into farming, you should visit some already existing farming. Ask questions. How much will it cost me to plant an acre of habanero? How much will it cost me to produce an acre of okra, onion, or tomatoes? They will be able, graciously enough, to tell you, this is how much it costs. So you plan towards it. Everything is about planning.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that here in Ghana, the governments would not donate money to support young people. I mean, some time ago we heard about fertilizer subsidy. How did it go? If you meet farmers and you talk to them about, did you enjoy this, enjoy that?
Subsidy.
Some said yes, some said no. So you do not think about or rely on external support. Your own way is find something doing, save, get the necessary checks, researches done on how much you would need. Then that way you can now start. It is easy. I mean, I wanted to do 5 acres. That was my plan, just 5 acres. But because of the credibility I had built, and I always tell young people, if you want to go to somebody to give you loan to do something, there has to be evidences. One of the major reasons why young people are not getting funding to also do farming is that there are no proper record keeping. I have interviewed over 300 farmers, and just a handful will tell you, okay, I've registered my farm. Okay, I have an account created in the name of the farm. So whatever it is, even being 5,000 is what I used as my startup capital. If you go through my record, you see the 5,000 there. So in the absence of this, trust me, nobody will give you funding. And that is the issue between financial institutions and our farmers. Lack of proper record. How do I search for your farm online? If you Google Ghanaian farmer, I am everywhere. How am I going to run away if you give me money? I am there. If you want to visit the farm, I would take you. If you want to see how much I've spent so far ever since we start, everything is on my Excel, on my laptop. So every money I pay to my supplier, it is there. Every time I spend, buy fuel to visit the farm is there. Fertilizer, it is there. Laborers come and I buy kenke and things for them to eat, it is there. So if we are looking for funding, being it international partners, being it from financial institutions or even government, there has to be traces of these things. If not, we would still wait around waiting for money and you won't get it. So
what do you think is our problem? That, as you said, this onion thing is an old developing story. We've not been able to overcome, and today we are confronted with the reality that we need to pay more for a commodity that we could be paying less because someone else is fighting, an internal problem.
So you see, like I was telling you that this story has been from 2017. I'm sure if beyond before that, it's been happening. It would interest you to know that in Niger they produce 1 million metric tons of onions annually. And guess the percentage that Ghana buys from them? Almost 43% of that production is bought by Ghanaians. Now, City FM did a story going about interviewing the traders as to why they always go for these onions instead of helping to sell the domestic ones or the ones produced by our farmers. They said, one, theirs is sweet. It also is not as harsh as in when you're chopping it for cooking. It doesn't enter into your eyes like the Ghanaian one. And also that one is produced on time. I was talking to a farmer when I saw the video that, hey, are you doing rain-fed farming or irrigation? He said, oh, I know I'm doing irrigation. I said, on how many acres? He said, about 3 acres. And I said, how much did it cost you to invest into the irrigation? He said, so even that's the normal one. It cost me about 10,000. How many young farmers or rural farmers can afford 10,000? So it means that when you go to Adan East District, 3 years ago, I was there to celebrate my 1 year and donate some farming equipment. Majority of the things they were asking for is irrigation pump machines. And I asked them why. They said, well, we are blessed to have the Volta Lake, running around our community. So if you give us the pump, we'll be able to connect and do our farming. Listen, I called them a few days ago. Have you started producing? He said, we are now harvesting. But the traders start trading the whole year. From January up until now, the trader is trading. He needs commodity to sell. But the farmer is now harvesting. How then do you expect the traders to do business with somebody who is relying on rain to produce their commodity? So until stakeholders like government, like private institutions, like anybody who has an interest in agricultural development, we have to consider putting investment into technology, which irrigation is part of this. Until we support farmers to have these basic irrigations on their farm. Listen, we would always wait till somewhere May, June, July when the rains, as I'm talking to you, I'm a rain-fed farmer. I'm waiting for the rains to come to do my first fertilizer. Yesterday, it rained, so I called my farm manager this morning. Hello, Chris, the rains. He said, no, madam, I'm worried. But at least I had some amount of rain in the soil. And of course, I have a little bit of dam. The landowner was gracious enough to have a dam on the land. Okay. So all I need now is to find money and invest into irrigation so that I can irrigate my crops. Do you understand? Do you see the inconvenience that Ghanaian smallholder farmers are going through to produce even the ones you see on the market? So if government is saying that we have interest in farming, farming is the backbone of the economy, farming creates one of the biggest jobs in Ghana, then what are you doing? Is it all about talk shops?
It looks like that's how it's been, because over the years, we say, oh, we'll do this to the agricultural sector, we'll build mechanization systems, we'll build this, but we don't really see it. So in fact, it's become a talk show.
That's it.
That's what we do normally. Yeah, the policies will be beautiful on paper.
Of course.
But when it comes to implementation, we have a challenge there. So it means that over the years, we knew the opportunities in there. Because look, we've been growing onions a very long time.
Very long time.
So if we think that people love a certain variety, why don't we develop it or go for it and
that's it.
Yeah.
So one of the things, that's why training. You hear, we are training this farmers, we are training that. But when you go into the market, you get to hear the varieties that consumers want from these traders. So how about inviting these farmers from these neighboring countries to come and conduct some form of training to our farmers? This is how we go about our production. This is the variety we are producing. So how about some of you trying few samples and let's see if consumers' taste would change towards that one. If we know what it is that consumers want, what is stakeholders doing about it?
You see, you know, we even have the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority.
Exactly.
Sometimes I really wonder what exactly it is they do. Well, they are doing certain things, but how proactive are they really? To look for an area and look at what they could do to support farmers? Because since I started learning agric, I've heard about this rain-fed agriculture. How many years now? So many years.
So many years.
And we're still, faced with this whole challenge about rain-fed agriculture. When we know the impact irrigation can do.
Exactly.
So this Ghana Irrigation Development Authority could even, take it upon themselves as a project. Like where you are, they could come to you and construct a small dam for you or an irrigation system, and then you pay off. After every harvest, there's a percentage of the harvest that goes to them.
Farmers are always open for such opportunities.
So when you do that, it means if today you are producing, say, 4,500 tons per harvesting, you could do like 90 or even times 3.
Exactly.
And who wouldn't agree to, doubling my output and me having to pay something small to you?
I wonder who will not agree to such an offer.
No. You see, I even read that we had an irrigation coming from the lower, the Pra River towards Commander because of the sugar factory.
Yeah.
Today, if you go there, and I'm sure if you want to trace the lines, we won't find them.
Of course.
Because we're a country that is really, because of our lack of commitment, we've not really been able to say, let's protect some of the things that we do. So the agric sector has a lot of potential. And I read that, like you, a lot of young people should come in and all of that. They need the support of the agencies responsible for agriculture to ensure that they increase their production. Because if today you are producing 4,500 and a help comes in and you're producing 9,000, you know the impact you can
the impact, I mean, the jobs that will be created, resources that people are going to make from it, and then sending it out and the money that will be coming into Ghana as well. You definitely, at the end of the day, pay some tax at the end of the day. So agriculture, everybody knows the true potential of agriculture. It's not just about the farming. We have those who do the value addition. We have those who do the buying and selling. We have the workers who are there making their own. We have the exporters as well. So the value chain is very huge. And so all I keep saying is that a lot of young people who want to go into agriculture, if you do not have money to start the farming itself, find a space within the value chain and occupy it. There are a lot of farmers who have harvested commodities. Trust me, a few days ago on Twitter, a gentleman inboxed me, have 5 acres of lady's finger, the very slim and long one. I want to sell. I'm harvesting tomorrow. Can you help me get buyers? And listen, if you're a young person, you want to go into farming, this will not help you. Right from the word go, when you identified what you want to cultivate, when you identified the land, and maybe you are in the process of doing soil testing and doing your budgeting, you should create visibility. Visibility as in create platform, digital platforms, and start advertising. So and so farms produce okra, we produce onion, tomatoes. If you want us to deliver to you, you want us to be your supplier, reach out to us. So please, the farmers who are complaining about, I've come to understand the reason why post-harvest loss has become an issue. Honestly, it should not be a problem. If only farmers would pay attention as to how they will help or find themselves doing marketing. It should not be difficult. I have people who are always reaching out. There are buyers who are looking for the producers. But how do they find you? If you are in Kumasi, or you are in the Volta region, or you are in the Central region, and you produce a certain kind of vegetable, and you are not out there, you are not visible, how do they find you to do business with you? If you make yourself visible enough, then selling would not be a challenge. You understand? So there is a lot of solutions out there, but we need everybody to play their role. So for me, before the word go for me to even go and lease my land, I had to meet my off-taker.
Okay. So it means that one thing that we cannot do, for example, these onion guys, they are complaining that they don't have onion, right? A farmer can then go to them, strike a deal and say, I'm going to produce it for you.
That's
on a large scale,
exactly.
this amount.
Exactly.
And then you go into, because you know
Yes.
you already have an off-taker.
Yes.
Signed agreement
That's
with the
it.
onion traders.
That's
so
it.
you cultivate
Ask them the
and
variety they
for it.
want.
Yeah.
So for me to settle on orange flesh sweet potato, I had to ask my off-taker, if you want me to produce for you, which variety do you want? He says, Enyonam, I want orange flesh. That is what my consumers want. So I just didn't assume that everybody eats sweet potato, so I'm going to produce sweet potato. At the end of the day, nobody will buy, or you will not get the expected amount you're looking for. I have another farmer posted on Twitter saying that I have this habanero ready. We've already harvested, but the market women have come around and they are determining the price. Yes, that's how it's going to go. Because right from the word go, even the habanero, we have varieties. We have the small ones and the big ones.
So you should know a variety.
Exactly. Are you selling the ripe one or the green one?
I think it even starts from your customer.
Thank you.
Who are you selling to?
So farming has changed.
When you determine your customer, then you determine the variety or the taste of your customer.
That's it.
And then you cultivate to meet the
That's
taste.
it.
So very interesting here. But let me bring in Dr. Charles Nyaba. He is the president of the Peasant Farmers Association Ghana. And of course, you'll soon be a member if you're not already.
I know, Doctor. Doctor is my very good friend.
All right. Doc, grateful for you to join us here. What do you think is the real problem confronting us now that, Niger, because of the issue there, we are complaining that it has impacted negatively on the availability of onions in Ghana? What has been really the challenge why we have to be where we are today?
Yeah, good morning, Kojo, and let me say good morning to Enyana, my good friend, Ignewa.
Yes,
yeah.
Doc.
So, how do you feel yourself as a Ghanaian who read agriculture those days in basic school, like Ghana, in terms of its richness in natural resources, including agricultural resources? How do you feel if a small country like Niger has crisis, and then we'll be sitting here complaining?